Hi, welcome or welcome back. This is the Newberry Review where we talk about books and all bookish content. So, I am starting the process of, um, how can I say, introducing or reintroducing some books to myself that I have had on my TBR for a long time. Some of these books I have read, some of them I have started to read, but I didn't quite finish. And lastly, I have books that I purchased and just never got to them. And so let's see what we have here. These books are going to be part of my 2026 reading vlog. I've never really done a reading vlog since I had this channel, but I love watching the reading vlogs. The reading vlogs, they seem like they just take a lot of time and effort. And not to say I don't want to put in time and effort, but to do a reading vlog, you really have to take the viewer along for the experience. And sometimes I just like to read and just keep it in my thoughts. But let's get on to what I'm doing. So in 2026, I said to myself, I want to try to do several reading vlogs. So instead of trying to do a reading vlog every month, I'm going to attempt to do a reading vlog 1/4 of each year. So the first reading vlog will be at the end of March, then at the end of June, end of is at the end of September, and then the last one the end of December. Yeah, we're going to keep our fingers crossed of how that will work. But to introduce to you the books that I'm going to read, and there's no particular order how I'm going to read them, but I want to share with you with the books that I want to read for this reading vlog. Now, these books, like I said, once again, I've attempted to read. Some of them I did read, and some of them that I have not read, and they've been on my TBR for a long time. So let's start with the first book, Built from the Fire, Victor Luckerson. This book, this was on my 25 of 2025. And this is why this makes the reading vlog, because my goal was to at least open this book this December and try to finish it. I did start it at one point and then I stopped. And so I think out of all of them, this one will be the one that I start with first. So this is the story of the Tulsa Massacre of 1921. And so it goes into the story of particular families in that community, and it tells their individual stories and the overall consequences, like how their life turned out after the massacre. And the title Built from the Fire was how they rebuilt Wall Street again and how it was sabotaged again. So I look forward to this read and this reading vlog. The next book I have is a book that this is an era of history that I do like delving in. Some of those areas, Black history, African history, and then World War II and the Civil War, like very particular areas, very particular eras. And so this is the U.S. Army in the Pacific War, 1941 and 1943. I read Jimmy Carter's book that talked about the Cold War during his presidency. And so this one, I'm not going to say it's not a spinoff, but this is in a certain era, but this is a certain segment of that, the Pacific War. Uh, Fire and Fortitude, John McManus. And this tells the story of two, I think, Army officers in their dealings with this specific, let me see, this specific Army, let me see, World War II readers would take from Pearl Harbor, a rude awakening from a military woeful unprepared for war, to Mikan to Silver Coral, where the Army was tested against increasingly desperate Japanese. And in between were 2 years of punishing combat in an Army transform. And then the characters they're going to highlight in this book is Douglas MacArthur and Eric Itchenberger. Yeah. So I thought that this was interesting, and I would definitely do the reading vlog of this because I, since I've been watching BookTube, I have not seen a reading vlog on any type of history, let alone the Civil War. So this would be interesting how I may react to this and how I break it down to you guys and give you my honest opinions along the way. So yeah, I look forward to this one. The next one is a book that I did read, and it took me a long time, even before I read it, to get to it. But then when I read it, I genuinely enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it. It is Divine Days by Leon Forrest. Now, this book, I would deem it a classic. Um, I read this book a few years ago, but let me give you a summary of what the book is about. It's about the character, and this is why I need to read it again. This is about a character, Joubert Jones, who is a playwright, an author. He's a journalist, and then he also has this job working, I think, as a bartender. But it tells his story along one week of everything that happens in his life as he putting pen to ink, or ink to paper. That's the right term. Ink to paper. So they say right here in the inner flap, fabulous, wildly comedic. It is funny. A Ulysses-like Divine Days explores the mythical world of Leon's Forest, literary kingdom, Forest County. It's a huge oration of the sacred and the profane, set in bars, churches, barbershops, over a crucial 7-day period in the life of the would-be playwright Joubert Jones during February 1966. And so when I read that end part of the book, I said, you know what? This is a perfect time to give that a anniversary type read. Even though the book was not published in 66, the setting was in 1966. So I look forward to doing a, how can I say, a book vlog for you guys, and pull y'all into the world of Joubert Jones. Now, for the longest, this last book I've had for years, and I've thought about tackling it several times, never got to it, but it's definitely one that I want to put on my list of books to vlog this year. And the only reason why I'm going to vlog it, because it's going to hold me accountable to vlogging it for you guys. So this last book is 3 Days Before the Shooting. Ralph Ellison. This is his unfinished novel that he had been working on for years. It is also, you can see this little sticker, this is a discarded book from the library. I love a good library sale. But yeah, so this, I couldn't even tell you what this is about, so let me give you a little bit of the summary. In his death, at his death in 1994, and I remember the day Ralph Ellison passed away. Ralph Ellison left behind several thousand pages, not several hundred, several thousand pages of his unfinished second novel, which was never published, right? Which he had spent nearly 4 decades writing, long awaited. It was to have been the work Ellison intended to follow his masterpiece, Invisible Man, which was great. 5 years later, Random House published Juneteenth, drawn from the central narrative of Ellison's epic work in progress, which was 3 days before the shooting. So, I've never read Juneteenth. I have the book. I've never read it. It is a fictional read, so I'm going to have to put that on my list to look out for in 2026. But this book, part of this book is the manuscript of Juneteenth. 3 days before the shooting, gathers together in one volume for the first time all the parts of it that plan opus. including 3 major sequences before published. Set in the frame of a deathbed vigil, the story is a gripping, multi-generational saga centered on the assassination of the controversial race-baiting senator Adam Sunrayder, whose being tended. You guys, I have like several cats, so that's what you guys seeing. It feel like fur in my mouth. Whose being tended by his daddy Hickman, the elderly the elderly black jazz musician turned preacher, who raised the orphan Sunrayder, a little boy of definite race who looks white in rural Georgia. So I guess he was white facing. Presented in an expunged provisional state. The narrative sequences form a deeply poetic, moving, and profoundly entertaining book, brimming with humor and intention. Composed in Ellison's magical, jazz-inspired prose style and marked by his comparable ear and vernacular. 3 Days Before the Shooting is perhaps the most notable of his ordinary insights into the creative process of one of the country's greatest writers. And then it said Ellison's achievement in the struggle with his material from the mid-1950s until his death 40 years later. And so I've had this book for the longest, never got to it. I want to get to it now. And I would like to share that experience with you guys. So, yeah, here we are, Ralph Ellison's 3 Days Before the Shooting. Now, how this will go is, of course, I don't have any way that I'm going to read the books. But if you are interested in me putting down like no, I'm not going to do it because, you know, I may not be in the mood. I was going to say, I will ask the community how you guys want me to do these vlogs, but the goal of the vlog is to vlog it throughout the quarter and provide, you know, you all with a robust insight of the readings. And so what I do know for sure as I'm looking at these books is that this one would definitely go first, only because this was on my reading challenge for 2025, and I'm not going to get to it, unfortunately, but I am still very much interested in finishing this book. So I think that this would be the first one, so look out for this one. And then I think, just based on stories and themes, I would do the U.S. Army in the Pacific War, because by the time I finish this, it would probably be around Memorial Day. And so Memorial Days, we honor our deceased soldiers. And so this plays into that theme of having the vlog ready for that. Now, those are the only two, honestly, that I've really thought about. Divine Days and 3 Days Before the Shooting. That is definitely a coin toss. So between those two, if you prefer one before the other, let me know. Either way it go, all 4 of these books are going to be read and vlogged in 2026. Now, I just hope that my mood doesn't change to change the book. That's all I hope. Either way it goes, vlogs are going to get done in 2026. I'm going to do one every quarter. Crossing my fingers, you guys. And I hope you stay tuned for the vlog. I will see you in my next reading plans for 2026. Until then, have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.